Episode 300 of Dylan Knows Right Now. So this is Tears for Fears' Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Great song here. And I got enough of that. Such a great song. So I figured I'd do that for my 300th episode. And also, surprise, I'm looking at my screen right now. It says, this Hangout on Air is live. Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. So we'll see what happens with that. Right now, they're allowing me to use this. But apparently, according to this, it will not be around for much longer. So we will see how much longer I can do this. I tried figuring out the new studio thing, but it just wasn't working for me. So I guess I have to play with it a little bit. But here I am, episode 300, and not much has changed, really. My first episode that I did a long time ago was upstairs in the dining room, actually, and with Tony Solo and Larissa. And here I am, episode 300, 209 episodes later, all by myself with my iced tea lemonade drink. When I hit 100, I was trying to do something special. I did something okay. It wasn't great. I'm going to X this out. I don't need to see this right now. And then 200, I don't remember exactly what I did with 200, but again, I don't think it was anything. I think it might have been, no, I think 200 was my Harry Potter one, was the Harry Potter one. So here I am, 100 episodes up later. I'm at episode 300 now, so it's quite an achievement, actually. I guess I always expect I hit 300 sometime, but back when I started this a while back, I didn't think I was going to hit 300. But yeah, 300. This episode is called This is Sparta, only because from the movie 300. That's the only thing I can think of for a clever title. Anyway, but nothing special this week, just regular stuff. It is June 15th. Yes, June 15th, 2019, day before Father's Day. So it's like Father's Day weekend. My birthday is in 5 days, so that's coming up good. So by the time I do another episode of this show, my birthday will have passed. So I will be 46 years old. So there's that. So I'm going to try to get through this today. I feel okay, I guess. I don't know. I just feel off. But we're going to talk some Stranger Things, the Dobby the Elf video that's making the rounds. What was special about June 8th, 1984. More Florida people. Dad hugs. Lots of science. Legion of Superheroes is coming back. Stupid people. Animals. Good people. Zombie snakes. Salamander eating plants. History is a waste of time, huh? Target had a Target apocalypse today. Iconic high school from a TV show from the early 90s will be getting demolished soon. The first woman in a wheelchair won a Tony. And an asteroid is very nearly is later this year, could very nearly hit the Earth. So end of days are coming, people. This is episode 300. This is Sparta. And we're going to start with that one real quick. Asteroid nearly the width of a football field has a chance to hit the Earth later this year. All signs right now point to, obviously, it not going to hit us, but they are making a serious look at it because it's going to be that close to the Earth that it could potentially be an issue. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, we keep hearing stuff about end of days, blah, 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 where it's going to happen, and it never does. So I don't know. This is an interesting study. Just in time for summer also. Surprise, surprise, that this study came out just in time for summer. Swimming may slow down aging by decades. So if you're a swimmer and you like to swim, your age may be slowed down dramatically. So you might actually be, your aging, I should say, may be slowed down dramatically. So you will not, when you get to be like 70, 80 years old, you're not going to look 70 or 80 years old if you're a swimmer. So, I mean, is it a lot of swimming or a little bit of swimming? 'Cause I've done a little bit of swimming in my lifetime. Is it a lot of swimming? Do I have to keep doing swimming to slow it down? This study was very vague about it, but hey, it's summertime. If you've never done it before, go swimming and you might slow down aging. So good on that. So I'm just really, really thirsty. The VW bus is back and it's electric. Makes sense. You know, the VW bus was the vehicle of choice for hippies everywhere in the 1960s. So, hey, why not? You know, those hippies grow up to be older people and now they want to drive in electric cars. And hey, the VW bus is back. Why not make it electric and more people buy it? This video made the rounds early this week. It appears, and cryptids are awesome, it appears a bizarre creature exited somebody's house, and it looks like Dobby the elf from Harry Potter. Dobby video, there it is. Let's see, can we get it on there? Come on. Let me do it. Yeah. It's just this, the door opens. See, they have any idea what it would be? They think it's a little boy who put something on his head and did a silly dance down the driveway, but we'll see. But it was a video that made the rounds, and a lot of people didn't know exactly what it was. It was security footage placed outside of somebody's house, so it wasn't like it was faked or whatever. People do that to make sure make sure their cars do not get robbed or stolen or whatever, and if they see strangers coming on the property. In this case, this creature just walked out of the door and just was slapping down the sidewalk, you know, and it looked like Dobby the elf. So I guess I could see where some people might believe that that could be an 8-year-old child with something on its head doing a little dance. But it's still a really weird video that took the world by storm and went viral. So we'll see what happens. Justin Bieber challenged Tom Cruise to an MMA fight earlier this week as well, and he recanted it a few days later. But that was just a really weird, bizarre sort of turn of events that happened after I did last week's show. So that was kind of a weird thing. So it was sort of a non-issue anymore. It came up, he challenged it, and then he turned around and said, nah, I'm not going to do it. And that's it. It started a Twitter thing where people would find out someone who is 31 years older than them and say, I'm going to challenge that person to a fight, just like Justin Bieber did. So just a weird kind of, This is kind of a sad story. A duck landed in a polar bear paddock at a zoo, and the polar bear jumped on it and ate it. It's a bear. It's a predator. Duck lands in his property. It's going to hunt it. It's not going to just say, oh, hey, duck, what's up, man? They're going to go down to free food and ate it all up. So not all animals are working together. You know, some animals have to keep, surviving. Speaking of which, a video has been making the rounds recently. As of yesterday, I think this made the rounds. An alligator was seen swimming in a Texas lake with a knife in its head. Still alive, but there's obviously a knife sticking out of the head. You can actually see it, and it's kind of disturbing that something like that could happen. The joke now is that whoever pulls that off will become the king of Texas or something like that. So blah, 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 ha, 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 funny joke. This is a weird story. So Stranger Things Season 3 is going to be coming July 4th. What I think I'm going to be doing is in about, let's see, today's the 15th. In about 10 days, my wife and daughter are going to go away on a camping trip for a week, and my son is going to go spend 3 days with my mom, since they're not going to camp this year, as I told you last week. During those 3 days, I'll be home alone, and I think what I might end up doing is I think I might get caught up on Stranger Things Season 2, because I've only watched the first couple episodes and haven't seen it all, so I want to try to get caught up before the third season starts. So I think I'll do that in about 10 days, do some binge watching of that. But the funny thing is, so I've mentioned a few things that have popped up over the last few weeks. A new Coke will be coming out in honor of Stranger Things. Again, um, Baskin Robbins is going to be doing Stranger Things ice cream stuff. Well, Burger King is getting into the act, and this is just a really dumb thing to do. Burger King is selling what they're calling the Stranger Things upside down Whopper, which is literally a Whopper upside down. That's all it is. So you order the Stranger Things Whopper upside down Whopper. They'll make it and wrap it like they usually do. And when you open it up, the bottom will be at the top and the top will be at the bottom. That's literally what Burger King's upside down Whopper is. So weird. It's the 15th. So put your mind back about 7 days. That was June 8th. I did an episode of Dylan Knows on that day, and I guess I didn't realize it until the next day after I'd done the show, that day, June 8th, 1984, which was 35 years ago, was the day that both Ghostbusters and Gremlins came out. And both films are considered to be classics for the 1980s age. And to have two pop culture type movies to come out on the same day is quite astounding. I don't really remember much about it. I remember seeing Ghostbusters at the movie theater. I don't think I saw Gremlins in the movie theater. I think I waited till like New Year's Eve to see it with a friend of mine when it came out on cable or DVD or not DVD, we had to videotape or something like that. So, I don't know, weird like that. So a Mexican band is playing a concert in a Mexican mall. You know, you see it all the time, bands playing concerts in the mall. And it just so happens that it happened to be a heavy rainy day, but they're inside the mall, so they're safe. So while they're playing, all of a sudden, you know, people are videotaping the band playing. You know, it's one of their favorite bands. They want to videotape them, you know, listen to it and play it back later on. They start noticing that the ceiling starts to leak. Rain water is dribbling down in little waves onto the floor of the mall. Apparently, the mall ceiling is not 100% perfect. But, you know, again, older building, possibly could happen, heavy rain, who knows, all that stuff. But the funny thing is, the band stopped what they were doing when this torrent of rain flooding started coming in, and they started playing Celine Dion's theme from Titanic. And that's just really, really clever that they did that. So good on them for taking that and making something fun out of not a bad situation, because they weren't in any danger. Just the mall was going to be messed up. This is absolutely brilliant, and the Japanese are way ahead of us when it comes to basically everything. This, and I keep coming back to this and keep thinking about this. This is such a brilliant idea. Japanese police officers actually do something very interesting. They shoot bright orange paintballs at fleeing vehicles, scenes fleeing from a crime scene or a hit and run or an escape car by criminals or whatever. If they can't stop the car, they will shoot it with these bright orange paintballs. Now, these bright orange paintballs are so super sticky and bright colored that you cannot really get it off, even if you put it through washing, you know, through a car wash, or you wash it by hand or whatever. It's really, really hard for you to get it. I mean, you might have to actually physically go to a place to get it detailed. But the whole point of that is to warn other police officers that if they see a car that has these bright orange paintball stains on it, that means they committed a crime, and you hunt them down, chase them, and catch them. And I think it's different than other paintball stuff, because it's a particular color that I do not think is available for regular paintballers. So you can't, you know, play pranks on people to have police looking for. This is a color paintball that only the police officers use, and it's a way to tag fleeing vehicles. And that's such a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. Who says grandparents aren't tough? This pair of grandparents thrashed a drugged out intruder trying to kidnap their 6-year-old granddaughter, and they held him down until the police came. So good on you, grandparents. And they had a picture of this dude. He got the crap beaten out of him. Cuts, bruises, broken nose, I think. These grandparents, they didn't take nothing from this drug addicted meth addict. Try to take your grandchildren away, we're gonna take you out. So I thought that was a pretty clever story too. Here's another pretty good story also. Instead of going out on July 4th, last year, obviously, and they'll probably do it again this year. Instead of going out on July 4th, a group of people comforted scared shelter animals during fireworks. When you hear fireworks, dogs, sometimes cats, other animals, particularly dogs and cats, so they get freaked out to no end by these fireworks. These group of people stayed with these shelter animals who don't have anyone else to look after them and calm them down during this torrent of fireworks. And I think that is an amazing, fantastic job on the part of those people. Good job on that. It seems like I've been telling a story about this since March or April, but Amazon is selling a huge inflatable speedboat with a built-in cooler. So I've been talking about all kinds of different inflatables for summer, stuff like that. Well, summer's here, beach time. This is a huge inflatable speedboat. So you can inflate the speedboat, but I guess it has an engine. I guess it has an engine on it as well. And it has a built-in cooler, so you can just putter around the lake or river or whatever. It's too big to fit in a swimming pool. Sorry, but it's just the way it is. And then do that. I had a weird dream really early this week, which made me believe that there's a possibility that alternate realities might exist. And in one of these alternate realities, I had a heart attack because basically I was dreaming something. I believe it was Julia St. Clair, who was one of the Snark Alex. I guess I was dreaming about her at the edge of a driveway or something. I don't know what the context was in that. And I felt my heart beating really, really fast, like it was going to come out of my chest. And it was so bad that I literally felt like my body went flying out of this dream, and I woke up in this reality. And I was still kind of confused, so I had to get up and walk around to make sure that, I was still in the right place. And I started thinking about things to make sure that I hadn't jumped to an alternate reality where something was different. But no, everything was the same, everything's normal as far as I know. I don't know how alternate realities works. Maybe this is an alternate reality, and the one I was in, I had a heart attack, but my soul, spirit, or whatever jumped into the body of this one. And it was basically the same reality with maybe some slight differences, which I haven't realized yet because maybe my mind reconnected with the actual Dylan of this alternate reality. And I don't know if there's anything missing. It just seems like normal stuff has been happening. So I don't know. It's just I have these dreams once in a while where something just startles me awake, and I literally wake up and I freak out for a second to try to remember where I am and what I'm doing. So let's see what happens. So on to page 2. Guy offers free dad hugs. At Pride Parade, there was also a woman who offered free mom hugs. Now, this is another absolutely wonderful story because Pride Month is this month, and LGBTQ people tend to get, majority of the time, a raw deal from their families, and it feels like nobody loves them or understands them. Their parents are disappointed in them, which is all bad parenting on my end. You should always be proud of your children no matter what they do, with the exception of maybe murdering people. that might be something you might not be proud of them to do. But if your child is gay or a lesbian or um, a transsexual or bi or whatever, um, it's should be fine. That's they're living their life. You should not at all be disappointed in your children if they are gay. So, but unfortunately, there are parents out there who do that, who kick their kids out of the house when they come out to them. And these kids don't have anywhere else to go. Sometimes they stay with friends. Sometimes they try, and it's hard for them to try to make it on the road, and it sometimes causes them to kill themselves or get hurt in other ways as well. But they still feel so strongly about their sexuality, as they should. So when you have these people who come to these pride parades with free dad hugs and free mom hugs, sometimes you just need a release. And there was a video showing this one guy hugging the guy with the dad hugs shirt on, and the guy was just absolutely bawling because his dad had kicked him out, and he just needed to feel the love of a dad. And that's what the dad and the mom were doing there. They were wearing these shirts to give hugs so they can tell these children who've been kicked out by their real parents that it's okay. If you need a hug, if you need to just vent, if you need to cry with someone, please come to me. I will absolutely comfort you. And I think that's absolutely wonderful and brilliant. There should be more of that out there in the world. The new Frozen 2 trailer, switching gears from series to Disney. The new Frozen 2 trailer came out. It appears it's going to be a more action-oriented movie with some glorious seasonal backdrops. There's some winter, obviously, and some fall stuff, and it looks darker than usual, but it looks pretty interesting, and actually looks fairly entertaining. And I might actually, if my kids don't want to see it, I might still go see it on my own. A grasshopper mouse hunts scorpions and howls at the moon. The little mouse goes. This is a grasshopper mouse because it jumps around. Probably it hunts scorpions, which are not easy things to tackle, and it howls at the moon, which is really, really funny. So it's all kinds of crazy animals out there. Kellogg's cereals are now available as different types of beer. I guess Rice Krispies was the one that I saw mostly, but I guess for that nostalgia taste, I think I did a story about this a while back. It's like the one with like Lucky Charms. It's like the beer was fermented with marshmallows and stuff like that. But they're out now, so if you're interested, go to your local liquor store, see if they have a nice section of these types of brews, and knock yourself out. Disneyland just opened their new expansion, Star Wars Land. Well, now they've determined that they want to do a Marvel character land, which makes sense also. So I guess they have the space around their property, so they will expand and create a Marvel themed land. And I don't know if Disney World will follow suit. I know Disney World is following suit with Star Wars, but I would assume you want to try to have, correlation between both Disneyland and Disney World. So I would assume that Disney World would probably try to find land for a Marvel world as well, considering Disney does own the properties, and Marvel movies and comics are doing extraordinarily well. It makes just perfect sense to me. In something we don't need in the world, lace shorts for men. As a man, have you ever felt the need to wear shorts made of lace? Neither have I, but apparently they're a thing now, and yeah, they don't look good at all. Unmarried women with no kids are the happiest population subgroup. I guess unmarried men with no kids isn't very happy either, because I guess they become more obsessed with work, I suppose, if you want to go with the cliche on that. I don't know, but that's a study says that, unmarried women with no kids are the happiest population subgroup. Let's see what else we got. NASA wants to build a star shade to hunt alien planets. Now, this is a dual spaceship thing. You build a spaceship which travels about 35,000 miles ahead of the star shade, which is, I guess, it is carrying on a spaceship. It didn't really, they weren't really showing. It's a big giant cloth thing, umbrella thing that would block out the starlight that would allow the other ship, which is in this case would be a space telescope, to map areas without, because the light would be blocked by the shade of the stars, would be blocked by the shade. The darkness would allow them to be able to see these alien planets better. I don't know the full details about it, but that seems to be the general idea of what they were trying to go for there. Let's do some science, people. NASA spacecraft spots a Star Trek logo on Mars. They have a picture of it. It looks like the typical, type of triangular Star Trek logo thing you expect it was on the land of Mars. So that's a kind of interesting little aspect. Scientists apparently can transform stress into electricity. I could light up a city with the amount of stress that I'm under right now. A woman in Mexico creates plastic from cactuses. It's biodegradable within a month and is safe to eat. So I guess, you keep using it, it won't biodegrade. And then when you finally throw it out after a month, it'll biodegrade and turn back into whatever. So it won't be pollution wise. So that's a good thing as well. The severed head of a 40,000-year-old giant Pleistocene wolf was discovered in Russia. These guys are like the dire wolves from Game of Thrones, but this is an actual wolf head that was discovered pretty much intact in Russia. So now they'll be able to do some studying of it and get an idea of the creature and the basics of that. And hey, you know what? Hey, just like Jurassic Park, why don't we go ahead and just clone it as well? Scientists have created a lifelike material that has metabolism and can self-replicate, which is kind of scary. It reminds me a lot of the Venom symbiote costume from Spider-Man. But I guess it's an important thing, a material that has a metabolism, which means it has to eat and move and can self-replicate, so it can create itself again if need be. Okay, let's see. Any other people believe that Jupiter's moon Europa has a giant ocean underneath the icy crust of it. And scientists believe, I don't know how they made this determination, but they believe that the oceans that are supposedly under the ice, which haven't been 100% proven yet, would have table salt, much like Earth's ocean. So it would be very salty, but very similar to Earth's ocean. So to be continued, I guess. Okay. The sky view ledge of the Willis Tower, I guess in Chicago, cracks under visitors' feet. So it's like a glass ledge that you can look down from one of the tallest buildings, I guess in Chicago, and it's cracking, which is dangerous because it cracks through and you fall to your death. So they have to get people out of there ASAP. Animals are becoming nocturnal to avoid humans. I think that's a funny headline. Just goes to show you that animals are smart. Hey, if humans are stupid, let's just let's roam around at night when humans are sleeping. So I like that idea. So I'm going to do that. A zombie snake will play dead. So you'll be walking along, you'll see a dead snake. It's like, oh, let's take a look at this snake. And you'll bend down to like touch it or move it, and it'll jump up and bite you. End of story. They've also created a salamander eating plant. So, I mean, you have your Venus flytraps. Now you have salamander flytrap plants. Venus salamander parents that will eat salamanders. Okay. A weird anomaly at the moon's south pole may actually be a giant metal asteroid that crashed there many years ago, but it's a strange anomaly that they don't know what it actually is, but they are anticipating that it probably is that. Um, Bigfoot's becoming kind of big again. And the funny thing is, I talked to my son about this today, and I read a book in the 1980s called the Bigfoot Case Book. I used to get at the library all the time, and then sort of disappears. Like, man, I wish I had a copy of it again. So I went on Amazon today, typed in Bigfoot Case Book, and there it was. And then they have a newer version with new Bigfoot sightings. So I ordered that one. That's going to be here on Monday. So my early birthday present for me, I guess. They don't even know about it, so they're not going to be like, hey, why did you do that and get that for your birthday? We could have gotten it for you. Like, no, you really didn't know that I wanted it until until that point. So that's kind of cool. But there's a story coming out now that rock apes, or their version of Bigfoot, actually plagued GIs in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. That while they were in the woods of Vietnam, they were being bothered by Bigfoot type creatures called rock apes. It's possible those Vietnam woods, from what I've been told, were really, really hard to go through, and it's possible that it was a warmer climate. There's probably plenty of food available and water for these animals, so that's good on that. So E3 was this week, I believe. It's the electronics and computing game convention out in Las Vegas, I believe, and it's introducing new video games that'll be coming up over the next year or so, and they showed a little bit more of Pokemon Sword and Stone, which is the new Pokemon game coming out November 15th. There's going to be a Corgi Pokemon now that everybody loves, and then a Arcanine, which shoots crazy dust things. So that was kind of interesting to see that. But they also announced for the Switch, which is the game we have, there's going to be a Dark Crystal game for the Switch. There's going to be a new Legend of Zelda game for the Switch. There's going to be Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch, and 2020 Olympic competition starring Sonic and Mario is also going to be coming up soon, since the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo will be next year. That might actually be a really good opening ceremony to watch, the Tokyo version of it. And also Minecraft Dungeons, which looks like taking the Minecraft idea and turning it to a Legend of Zelda video game, where instead of doing a story, there's actually a video game, you play a character that goes through a Minecraft world trying to fight off people to get to creatures and stuff like that to get to locations. So that could be kind of interesting to look at as well. So some good stuff coming up for video gamers, so keep an eye out for that. School lets students earn PE credit by doing yard work for the elderly and people with disabilities. I mean, I guess that's okay. It's okay to give them credit to help out. I mean, I guess if you're mowing the lawn or chopping up wood or raking, stuff like that, that can be considered a physical activity. So I guess you could get credit for that for phys ed. But while it's a good thing to do, missing out on playing sports could be kind of rough. I really think I need to start getting 2 of these because I'm still thirsty. I still got a ways to go. So Tom Taylor is a comic book writer that I talked about a while back, where he tweeted out a bunch of stuff that was happening at a haunted cabin in the woods. He went to the cabin in the woods to do some writing by himself, and he's Australian, and he said, what's the worst that could happen? And then he just started tweeting all this weird stuff that was going on at this cabin during this weekend he was there, and some of it was really, really kind of creepy, and it was freaking him out a little bit. And he made videos with sound. That was weird sounds coming. There was weird, things that were seen in pictures, weird people visiting, weird packages showing up on the cabin doorstep and stuff like that. It was just weird. So he wrote a whole big thing about it on Twitter, and it became a huge viral thing. Tom Taylor has also been writing a series for DC called Deceased, which is basically Marvel zombies, but with DC zombies. And he's also been writing the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which to me hasn't been that good, but everybody seems to like it enough, so I don't know. Anyway, but one of the books that he started that got his name out there was a book called Injustice, which I think is based on a video game series where it's a alternate reality of the DC universe where everybody's like evil, like superheroes, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are all like evil and stuff like that. So they made a comic book of it. It's been fairly popular, and Tom Taylor's been writing it. So I brought this up because criminals have been using copies of Tom Taylor's Injustice comics to smuggle drugs, in this case meth, into Australia. So they've been, getting the comics and putting the drugs in them and smuggling them into Australia under the guise of these comics. Then so happens that Tom Taylor is Australian also. I guess was coincidental, unless it was kind of, hey, these guys knew what they were doing when they did that. So I think that's an interesting story. Speaking of comics, the Legion of Superheroes is finally coming back, and surprise, surprise, Brian Michael Bendis is writing it with Ryan Sook on artwork. Now, Bendis seems to always do this. He seems to write a million books. He's writing the 2 Superman books right now, Superman in Action. He's doing the Event Leviathan story right now. He's also writing Young Justice and Naomi. He's also running that American, that teen comic thing. He's also keeps doing his creator-owned stuff as well. And now he's going to be doing Legion also. And Ryan Sook, while a good actor, a good artist, is one of those artists that you put. He only does like a book every like 2 months, it seems like. So I guess he's got a head start, because I mean, Ivan Reyes was the same way. He would do one book, and then he wouldn't be on it for like 4 or 5 issues, and then he'd do another book, and then wouldn't be on for like 4 or 5 issues. But then, when he signed on to be the artist for Superman with Brian Michael Bendis, he's been fairly regular. So I guess he got good enough leeway on it. He has been lately getting some help from Brendan Peterson and other stuff as well. So we'll see. I mean, the Legion has been missing from DC for a long time, and it might be good to finally see a new iteration of it, particularly written by Bendis. So we'll give that one a shot, probably down the line. Now we're getting to the stupid people portion of our show. A man who faked a plane hijacking to get his girlfriend to move in with him is sentenced to life imprisonment. Just think about that. In order to convince his girlfriend to move in with him, he hijacked an airplane. Moving on. Florida. Oh no, this isn't Florida. Woman kills boyfriend after a disagreement concerning. Oh, okay. So this seems like a cut and dried case. A woman killed her boyfriend, shot him, and police found the gun in her hand and him dead on the ground. And they had an argument about their religious cult they were in, a religious cult that believed that reptilian aliens have taken over the highest parts of our government. So just kind of a weird little story. And the woman claimed that the husband, her boyfriend, actually pulled the trigger for her because he wanted to die. So I don't know. Whatever. Police say Florida woman squeezed boyfriend's genitals until they bled. Ouch. That would be, yeah, that would hurt a lot. It really would. A Missouri senator says it's a waste of time to study history because it was long ago. Now, that's infuriating because I was a history major. I find history fascinating. The books I've been reading now are nonfiction books about history. I think history is important to learn how we got to where we are and the reasoning for doing certain things. And I do believe, if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it. We are repeating it right now. Basically, we have Mexican kids and parents in concentration camps, much like the Nazis did during World War II. So it's kind of disappointing. My wife is sharpening knives, so I hope she's not going to cut off my genitals, and she could squeeze them until they bleed. Would you always wanted to turn your dog into a mermaid? Well, now you can. There are now life jackets for dogs that make your dog look like a mermaid. So they can go swim in the pool. They will have a life jacket on, but it will make them look like a mare dog, I should say. I think that's kind of weird. I mean, there's some people, I guess, like this. I really shouldn't put it in with the stupid people, but I did anyway. This isn't stupid. Now we're moving on from stupid people. We have more stupid people to come. Don't worry. On the next page, we got a few more Florida people, actually. 24/7 Krispy Kreme shop opens in Times Square. It looks like it is a 2-story Krispy Kreme, and it has the giant hot now sign. It's like one of those things where you go in, if the hot now sign is lit up, it means that they have fresh donuts made hot and ready to go, that type of thing. Flashback 11 years ago, to 2008. Apparently, this story didn't seem to register that much because it's just come up again recently. Nirvana, 9 Inch Nails, Aretha Franklin, and 500,000 more musicians' recordings were destroyed in a fire back in 2008. So master recordings of upwards of 500,000 of them, 500,000 of these recordings were destroyed in a fire. And it barely made the news because I think they put another story in there, because something else burned as well, and that was the big story that no one really thought about this. But then all of a sudden, this story comes back out again recently, and we discovered that 500,000 recordings were destroyed. Some from old people like Chubby Checker and stuff like that were destroyed in this fire. So that's a shame. On good news side, before we turn the page to hear about more dumb people, a 6-year-old little girl has been collected 1,000 jars of peanut butter and jelly, so her classmates will have a meal, and that's a really sweet thing to do. And again, it's one of those things where it's a sweet thing to do, and it's wonderful that these kids are doing it, but they should not have to be doing this. This should be something that the school boards or people should be doing on their own and helping kids who cannot get their own food a chance to, have a good meal. Peanut butter and jelly might not be the best meal in the world, but it's something, Guy builds giants from wood and hides them in the wilderness, so that people are walking along and they'll see this really neat looking artistic giant thing made out of wood. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. And they're kind of neat looking. So that's a good little story as well. Wow. I'm even at an hour in and I'm almost done my stories here. A rare black jaguar cub was born in a Mexican zoo. Black jaguars, I guess, they look like Black Panthers, but they're jaguars, which is odd, I guess. That something like that would happen. But it's, again, we've been having these odd stories lately. I think I talked about like a white deer last week or a white moose or something like that last week. So, hey, a rare black jaguar cub, just add to that. Veterinarians, there are certain veterinarians who have comfort dogs that help sick dogs. So basically, you have your your helper dogs for people. They help them, with certain things if they have, you know, physical problems or mental problems or whatever. They help them out here. Well, these veterinarians have these dogs that come on, and when there are other dogs who are getting ready to go in for surgery or are sick or whatever, they let these other dogs in and let them sniff each other and be there for, companionship to another dog. So that's kind of a nice little story about that. Um, a hunter tries to talk down a black bear from his hunting platform, which I guess you could consider irony a little bit. So this black bear climbed up to this hunter's, little tree. I forget what you call it, where hunters they build this little tree thing. It's like almost like a little mini tree house up in the woods, so that deer and bears and stuff like that can't see them. So when they're walking through the woods, these guys can just take them out from up here. And plus, if they don't get them right away, the animals can attack them. But apparently, this bear was, saw this thing and just decided to climb up the tree and hang out there. So this hunter was trying to talk him down so they could go up and turn around and shoot him. But I don't think that happened, though. Crayons sold at the dollar store have been tested positive for asbestos. That's kind of disturbing a little bit. Ali Stroker is the first actress in a wheelchair to win a Tony. So it's good that, disabilities or whatever are not stopping people from being the best that they can. And that's good on that. Twin Peaks, one of my favorite shows of all time, has many iconic places where they've shot the show before. And one of them was the school where all the young actors, the Laura Palmers and the Donnas and the Sherilyn Fenns and the Bobby Briggs and stuff like that, where they all went to school. And in the first episode, there's a lot of section where there's scenes through the hallway of this school, a kid doing this crazy dance, and then there's people screaming when they find out that Laura Palmer died, stuff like that. But the school was a big part of the show. Well, that school is now slated to be torn down later this year. So it will no longer exist. So it's a shame, but things move on. Mega Stuff version of Oreo cereal will be coming. It's my really not a lot of food conversations this week, so there's that food story for you. That's stupid people. Kids study shows kids whose parents make them do chores are more successful. We are going to start having our kids do chores this summer, so maybe they'll be more successful. Hopefully, you never know. Director Franco Zeffirelli passed away today. He's most famous for me for directing the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet, which we actually watched in high school. I think in ninth grade we actually watched the movie itself. But yeah, Franco Zeffirelli, he's done some other stuff as well, but he's mostly famous for that. He died today, I believe, or yesterday. But he died. He was older, so it was bound to happen eventually. Target had a apocalypse today when their system went down and the cash registers were not working. So all those people who wanted to buy stuff, who had been shopping at Target and were waiting in line to buy stuff, couldn't. And this was a worldwide epidemic. So I think they got it fixed. I'm not 100% certain if they have. Let's see if there's anything in the news. Ooh, that's a new breaking news story. New Zealand prepares for a tsunami after a massive 7.4 magnitude earthquake. So be careful. Oh, I don't like that. So I want to be careful about that. So New Zealand, to repeat, New Zealand prepares for tsunami after a 7.4 earthquake. Crazy. But yeah, I don't see anything else about Target. So, ooh, that's a nice ROM cosplay. I'll show that real quick. Yeah, Monty Python star Michael Palin gets knighted. We knew that, but I'm just going to mention it again. Michael Palin knighted. So he is now Sir Michael Palin. He deserves it. Of all of them, he deserves it. Cleese should probably be next eventually, but actually Palin deserves it because he's done a lot of stuff. Okay, so nothing about Target. So let me see. Twitter is probably the better news source, as it were. Also, I'm killing time because it's going to be less than an hour. This show's going to be less than an hour, so I'm going to try not to. Let's see. Target. No. Target cash registers are back online. Okay, so yes, so good. So, but for a while there, they were not. So, hooray for that. Let's see. Stupid people, kind of stupid people. There's now a wetsuit that looks like a suit. So basically, it looks like you're wearing a suit, but it's a wetsuit. So you can walk out of the ocean, look like you're wearing a suit. It's got this, looks like it has a coat and a shirt and a tie and suit pants and suit shoes and stuff like that. But it's actually a water wetsuit. So pretty interesting. All right, so let's end this episode with stupid people. First up, Russia has evolved slap fighting. Now, I mentioned slap fighting a while back. It's a new craze now where you have two guys who face off each other against the bar, and one slaps the other as hard as he can in the face. And the other guy comes and slaps the other guy as hard as he can until one of them just can't take it anymore. Well, now there's a new version out, slapping asses. Where now, instead of slapping faces, people are slapping each other's asses as hard as they can. So good on that, I guess. I don't know. Here's some Florida stories. Florida man steals car, kills dog, chases man with an axe, found naked in a chicken coop. Now, this was a story that was mentioned on The World of Stupid. Jeremy Kahn from 105.7 mentioned this, so I figured I mentioned it as well. It's just got a crazy headline. A Florida man stole a car, and when he was stealing the car, he ran into a dog, killed it, then got out, grabbed an axe when some guy was wondering what he was doing, and chased this guy with an axe. Eventually, the guy got away, and then the guy got rid of his axe, stripped completely naked, and hid in a chicken coop because I think he said that no one would ever think to look for him in a chicken coop. He obviously didn't see The Fugitive, where Tommy Lee Jones barks out every hen house, outhouse, and other stuff. So he says hen house. So it's a typical hiding spot, I guess, for people like that. But again, just a crazy headline. Florida man steals car, kills dog, chases man with axe, found naked in a chicken coop. Florida man gets $500 fine for telling police his name was Ben Dover. Ben Dover. Fine $500 for that? Come on, man. That's just obscene. This is just a disgusting story. Trapeze artist who has diarrhea shits on 23 people. So you're going to the circus, you're watching the trapeze artist at the top do his thing, and then all of a sudden a bunch of runny poop lands on your face. Ugh. Coming from that dude up there, and he's swinging all over the place. So his diarrhea is streaming out all over, and it's affecting everybody. 23 people were hit by his shit. and it's disgusting because diarrhea is really is hard. It's wet, yucky, and stinky. Finally, wow, I can't believe it's going to be under an hour. Well, I still got a few things to cover, so I'll try to push to an hour. I don't think I'm going to be able to, though. Finally, Chernobyl. It was a hugely popular TV show on HBO. It was a mini series, with actors portraying the roles of the characters who involved in the Chernobyl meltdown, and it covers, everything from what happened before the meltdown, during the meltdown, and after the meltdown. And it was filmed like a, it was filmed with actors in the roles of these people, and it became hugely popular on HBO. I mean, huge story. People were watching it, talking about it, and were just shocked by what had happened. It was a more in-depth look at what actually did transpire at Chernobyl back in '86. And yet, the show ended with, it was a one and done story. But yet there are people out there who are clamoring for a second season of Chernobyl. The story's done. What they wanted to tell is done, over with. There's really not much more else to tell in the TV show format. So you basically want another nuclear disaster to happen so you can have another TV show that you would enjoy watching. Got it. That is really it for the 300th episode. Not a lot going on, really. But, this week, besides Gremlins and Ghostbusters coming out this week, we had Raiders of the Lost Ark come out in 1981. I've already covered my Raiders of the Lost Ark story before. I don't need, well, I may as well cover it again, since my birthday is next week and I need to kill some time. So let's show. I've told the story before, but I'm going to tell it again. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out in 1981. I turned 8 years old in 1981. Now, one of the things we did in our family was, when it was your birthday, you got to choose what movie the whole family would go to and what restaurant you'd go to eat. Now, I don't remember what restaurant I chose. It was probably Roy Rogers or something like that. But my sister, who at that time was 11, was trying to convince me to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark in the movie theater because she wanted to see it. And all her friends, I guess, had seen it, and she wanted to see it. But I had no interest in seeing Raiders of the Lost Ark. I instead wanted to watch the Cannonball Run 2. So I picked the Cannonball Run 2 over Raiders of the Lost Ark to watch for my birthday. At the time, I was 8 years old. I liked the original Cannonball Run. The sequel's coming out. I was like, hey, it should be a lot of fun, more of the same stuff. I like that kind of stuff. My sister was trying so hard to get me to look at Raiders of the Lost Ark. And now, in retrospect, I kind of wish I had gone because I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. Back to School came out 32 years ago. Rodney Dangerfield, Robert Downey Jr., William Zabka, and the guy who played Amadeus. No. Right? No. It wasn't the guy who played Amadeus, or was it? No, it wasn't him. He was the guy who was in Animal House. He was a director. Gordon, right? Let's see. I mean, to face facts, it is Rodney Dangerfield's movie. And it's one of his lesser, Keith Gordon, that was his son. Okay. So Robert Downey Jr., Rodney Dangerfield, Keith Gordon, Robert Downey Jr., the guy who was in Rocky, who played his buddy, was in it as well. William Zabka, who played baddies all in the 80s. Who else was in that? Terry Farrell, who ended up being on Deep Space Nine, she was in there as well. Annette Kellerman, I think. Sally Kellerman was in there as the love interest for Rodney Dangerfield's character. And Adrienne Barbeau, I think, played his wife. And the guy who was the French guy she was in first was also a famous actor too. So it's a fun little movie, and it's one of Rodney's not so mean, typical Rodney films, and it's a good film. I liked it a lot. So definitely, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Predator came out in 1987. Get to the chopper, do it now. Which might actually be 32 years. Also, might came out the same year as same day as Back to School. Same. So hey, good on that. So Predator, get to the chopper, do it now. That's one of the absolute best action films of all time. And in music, my favorite band, REM, their third album, Fables of the Reconstruction, came out this week. Let's see, Feeling Gravity's Pull, Maps and Legends, Driver 8, Life and How to Live It, Old Man Kenzie, Can't Get There From Here, Green Grow the Rushes, Cahotek, Auctioneer Another Engine, Good Advices, Wendell G. Not one of my favorite albums, but Maps and Legends is good. Driver 8 is fantastic. Life and How to Live It is okay. Old Man Kenzie's okay. Can't Get There From Here is really, really good. Cahotek is one of my favorites. Good Advice is pretty good. So that all came out this week as well. So like Cahotek, we don't know. So it's such a great name for an album too. Also, Fables of the Reconstruction. So fantastic, and that came out this week as well. So there's that. And then let's do our Check I Day, and then that is going to be it. A real quick episode 300, because let's face facts. This is the show. I mean, and if Hangouts on Air are going to be going away for good, I'm going to have to try to figure out a new way of doing this. So we'll see what happens. But hey, I made 300. My goal now is to make 365, maybe even 366, so I can have one for every day of the year. You could sit down and watch an episode of Dylan Knows every day for a year. So let's check out the Check I Day. Let's check our picks to click. All right. Where are you? Here you go. Check I Day. Today is June 15th, 5 days before my birthday, and it is Fly a Kite Day, Global Wind Day, Justice for Janitors Day, Magna Carta Day, National Electricity Day, National Kiss a Wookiee Day. It's sooner Kiss a Wookiee. I can arrange that. National Lobster Day, National Smile Power Day, National Native American Citizenship Day, Nature Photography Day, World Elder Abuse Awareness Day, World Juggling Day, Worldwide Day of Giving. Yesterday, June 14th, was Army's birthday, Family History Day, Flag Day, International Bath Day, National Bourbon Day, National Flip Flop Day or Thongs, National Marriage Day, National Strawberry Shortcake Day, Own Your Share of America Day, Pause for the Pledge Day, Pop Goes the Weasel Day, Work at Home Father's Day, World Blood Donor Day. June 13th was National Career Nursing Assistance Day, National Kitchen Klutzes of America Day, Random Acts of Light Day, Sewing Machine Day, Weed Your Garden Day. June 12th was Crowded Nest Awareness Day, Ghost in the Machine Day, Little League Girls Baseball Day, Loving Day, Magic Day, National Automotive Service Professionals Day, National Jerky Day, Beef Jerky Time, National Peanut Butter Cookie Day, Red Rose Day, Superman Day, World Day Against Child Labor. That's all June 12th. And then tomorrow, June 16th, what do we got? We got World Sea Turtle Day, Wish Fulfillment Day, Trinity Sunday, No Orange Clothes Day. I wore my orange today, so it's good. National Vinegar Day. It's also Father's Day. National Turkey Lovers Day, National Fudge Day, Ladies Initiated in Baseball Day, International Day of the African Child, Husband Caregiver Day, Fresh Veggie Day, Father's Day, Family Awareness Day, Blooms Day. And that is that. And that was episode 300 of Dylan Knows. Not very big, not very impressive, kind of light, just like me. And that's it. I hope you all enjoy this show. Hopefully, with it being a short one, you'll watch it and enjoy it and have a good Father's Day. Next week is my birthday, June 20th. Don't forget, send cards, money, watch all my episodes over and over again so I have millions of viewers and I can get paid. And we'll see. We'll see you again next week sometime. Okay? Take care. Bye bye. 300. This is Sparta.